Hello. How's it going? It too warm. Yo, Droopy, how's it going? It's so warm. Yeah, I am. It is actually not that hot here. It's like a few degrees colder, and it makes all the difference. It's been quite nice. But yeah, hope you're keeping cool. But yeah, we're gonna do a submission video for Welcome Tour, and that's it. That's all we're doing. That is all we're doing today. So we will get started with that. Where is the capture card? Is it just because it's quiet? Why? It says monitor and output. Let me turn that down. Hang on. Oh, it is. Okay, it's just because it's quiet on my PC. Alright, I'm going to turn it up. Working on the splits of tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, I'm still not sure if I will definitely be able to do tomorrow. I guess I should change that on the schedule, actually, that we're doing Clubhouse, because it will literally just be Clubhouse, I think. But yeah, it should be good. I mean, even if not, I might just not stream, and we'll just do the submission video. That could be good. That could work. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna do short stream today. Just one run of Welcome Tour. I've made a new route. We've actually got sub-splits this time. Wait, this is the no handheld. Why does it keep doing the no handheld? There it is. I've got sub-splits again because the route is so optimized now that there's not really much give for me to change the route on the fly. So, or if I do, then it's just going to be adding an extra demo or something. So we have sub-splits, so you can actually see the medal requirements, which is nice. But we're going to see how this goes, and yeah. Yeah, this is the main reason why I'm rushing for submissions. I want to submit to Preventathon 6. I want to have stuff on sort of in the pocket for gofish as well. I want to get ready early for GDQ submissions. That's the main thing, really. And then probably, I mean, Winter Pride is going to be opening submissions eventually. So that is also on my mind. And it feels very early, considering only one of those, other than gofish, obviously, actually has submissions open right now. But it does just make things easier if I already have submissions before they actually open. Sel was wondering why you didn't submit that. Yeah, it's because I'm busy. It's because I'm very busy. Yeah. I do want to submit. I want to submit this, and I want to submit the Secret Rings, and I've got to do both. And I've got a week, and that's not enough time. But yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I've got a decent video for Secret Rings. If only I didn't do the marathon run like a month or so ago with webcam mic, then we wouldn't have a problem. Yeah, that's an issue. So unfortunately, I did very good commentary, but you can barely hear me. At least, well, no, actually that's unfair. You can hear me. It's fine. It's just that it's not very good. So I do want to do that again. But we'll see how this goes anyway. And then, yeah. And, wait, hang on. I might need to... You know what? I'm going to reload. Because I can then test the audio. Yeah, I think it's quiet. Because the last thing I played was Matteo. I'll tell her if she asks again. Alright, no worries. Oh, I'm glad I'm, like, that much of a mainstay. That... It's like a shock when I don't submit. That's kind of funny. But yeah, I do want to submit. I will probably submit for volunteering this time as well. Might do social media again. That was decent. Depends if I can actually have time. But yeah. Okay. Seems like the audio is good. But this is literally just going to be a 1 hour... pretty short stream, just for me to actually do a run. I do have splits. They're obviously only going to be against the main area split. but it's going to be a little bit weird because the split timing for when I finish a mini game is going to be fade to black from the mini game. So Rumble 2 is going to be significantly earlier as a split compared to, you know, the 7-minute 11-second time of, you know, that's actually on the split, because there it's when I end the area. So the only split that's going to be correct in here is going to be area B. All the others are going to be slightly wrong, I think. 4K Pixel 1 will also be wrong. They're all going to be wrong, basically. But it's just something to compare against at least. So, yeah. But anyway, I need to sort out my windows and then we'll do the run. But as always with any run, if anyone has any questions, then go for it. But otherwise, it's just going to be a pretty normal run of Welcome Tour. This is a new route. I'm trying out Seagull as well. Hope it's going well. Yeah, today is not a ghost ping. I don't go live for 2 minutes and then end. Although it will still be a short stream. Yeah, so the thing with this route, watch streak seems to be safe. Nice. And that is the first win of the stream as well, so I can close that window. That is good. Nice. Yeah, I thought it would be safe because I wasn't even live for 5 minutes. It was literally a minute and a half or something like that. Yeah, so Spike Balls 1 now has 30 seconds / 50 seconds. What this means is the first one, it means that is the one I'm going for normally, but what I will probably do here is go for 50 seconds. We have other ones in here for that. You might also notice touchscreen is now in the middle. That will probably change. And to be honest, I do eventually want to get rid of touch 10 too. Like, that is on my list to get rid of, because that would be the optimal route to get rid of that. Actually, I need to check my route to see if that should even be in there at all. I think it should be. But yeah, basically this route now does touchscreen in the middle and then changes back to docked mode. And the reason for that is because it means that when we come to do all these revisits, we can just do all of them in one go, rather than... I mean, it's pretty much going to save me like 4 warp moments, which is good. Can't believe I wasted my hit and blow luck with my John Summerthon run. Damn. That's unfortunate. I mean, simply just get more luck, what can I say? It's just as simple as that. Right, where are my notes? So, I spent a little time on this the other day. And it should be ready to use, this new route. So, Welcome Tour. Yeah, so you might notice as well, Balloon Hunt, they're all in the same area. Scrape Off, they're all there. Feel the Shape is straight after Scrape Off now, which is really nice. And then we've got Touch Screen, which isn't too bad. I mean, Pixel Hunt is a cakewalk. Touch 10 is... Touch 10. It's going to be a butt. It's going to be a butt. And then, yeah, Speed Maze is then way after Scrape Off, which is good. Yeah, the last one is Sneck now, which is kind of funny. But it's a nice one to end on. Like, I'm good at flowers at this point, and Snake is decent as it can be to get sub 8 consistently. So, yeah. Yeah, Touch 10 2 is still in there. The thing is with this route, I still get 2 medals in Speed Maze 3 and Speed Maze 4. I really do want to add that back in at some point. What I wanted to do, because now we don't have Match the Rumble, what I want to do, if I get a really, really good PB with this, is, if I want to push the game further, remove Touch 10 2, put Match the Rumble back in, and go down to 30 seconds in... Oh, actually, no. Oh, yeah, because this route gets 100 medals. Yeah, so we're going to get 50 seconds in Spike Balls 1. Spike Balls... in future, I could go for 30 seconds if I then... I don't know how I worked it out, because I'm sure this route is slightly different. Oh, yeah, because if I get the 3rd medal in Speed Maze 3, that will then put me a medal ahead. So I could then play Match the Rumble, hope to get 3 medals. If I don't, then I'd have to play a backup medal, which is why that is a bit of a pain. But yeah, in theory, Match the Rumble is faster than Touch 10-2, but not by a lot. So it's tricky at this point. It's very tricky. We're getting to the last sort of optimizations of the game, I would say. But that's pretty good. And this is definitely good enough for an actual marathon submission, so we're going with this. Anyway, I think we're ready to get started. So, and I will just quickly test. We got this one. Yeah, I mean, I can move the camera down straight away. And then it's in position. And we've got drilling going on, which is just fantastic, isn't it? Nice! Oh, actually, I can turn off the Elgato on this one, because that looks silly. More drilling. I don't think it's too loud. Never mind. I might wait a few seconds, just in case it stops. This is the only problem. You can kind of just hear everything that's going on in the other rooms here with the new setup. Yeah, I can see it's audible on the on the microphone. Oh, I'm trying to do a submission video. Good luck with the recording. Yeah, thanks. I'll need it. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, again, it's fine. Like it won't be a problem on the day. Do I want questions mid-run? Can do. Just the same as any other submission, really. If anything comes up, then we can just go for it. I mean, there's a reason I'm streaming it instead of just recording it. If I wanted to have a submission with no questions, then I would record it instead. Like, I'm fine with it like this. It kind of prompts me to talk about different things anyway. So yeah, pretty much just normal stream with marathon commentary in the background. So normal stream. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate it. Okay, right. We'll start a run. So. Oh, I can close my timer. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, this is Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and if you've seen any of my previous submissions, you will know that this is an expected submission from me. Anyone else, this would be, why are you running this? But no, for me, it is completely normal. So this is the Switch 2 Welcome Tour game. This is pretty much marketed as like a tech demo. It is a tech demo, but there are more mini games in here than there are, you know. Nintendo marketed this poorly. It's pretty much mini games with a little bit of tech demo. If you don't want to do the like quiz stuff, then you don't have to. And we're not going to be doing the quiz stuff in here. We're just going to be playing the games. So what we do need to do, unfortunately, in this run, this is 100 medals, and that does involve us going around, going to these different areas, picking up the stamps for each button. So there is some optimization to this, and we will get into it. There is ice physics in the next area, which is kind of funny. But what the main thing we're doing here is pretty much turning the camera. And the reason for that is these are very specific points that I have on my notes. And the reason we're doing that is because some of these buttons, like that magnetic connector, the camera, if it changes on its own, is very, very slow. We're also going to be making use of warps, by the way. There are loads of warp points. Pretty much every button we collect is a warp point. So you can warp a lot of the time to speed stuff up. But yeah, 100 medals, we're pretty much playing different games. Maximum you can get in one game is 3 medals. So we're going to have to play at least 34. And you know exactly how many we're going to be playing. If that is the minimum to be fast, we're going to be playing 34. So, this is Dodge the Spike Balls. The first one here, 50 seconds. That is how much it takes to get 3 medals. First one's 20, then it's 30, and then you get the super secret 3rd medal. Pretty much like the platinum medal. I've speedrun games like We Play. I've speedrun a lot of platinum medals, and pretty much like the gold standard is getting, you know, the platinum medal. Like the gold medal is the highest the game really tells you about, but there is a platinum medal as well. I am stuck. That's not good. Right, nice start. I mean, it avoids the drilling again, but whatever. See, this is the problem with submissions, where it doesn't get started for the first 3 minutes, and I have to talk while focusing. I am not taking a run that does not even get 30. I said in my head, as soon as I got in there, into that game, if I get 30 seconds, I will continue. That is not 30 seconds. That's unfortunate. Alright, we'll go again. Yeah, the goal for this run is sub 50, to be honest. Like, I can definitely sub 50 today. This is how good this route is. Like, if I get a solid, clean run, I can genuinely sub 50. Like, I'm starting to really get into a rhythm with this game. I don't expect to sub 50, but I know I can. Yeah, sub 50 is pretty tight. It is, you know, pushing sub-hour we play. Like, it's that kind of vibe. I would say sub 50 handheld is like sub-hour we play, in my opinion. Although I really don't have a lot to work with because I've barely run this game. I mean, I've played the game for a decent amount of time, like I can show you. Where is it? Profile. 30 hours. That is honestly less than I thought. Although, actually, if we go on my other page, 20... Yeah, so I've run it for 50 hours. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the speedrun profile has two-fifths of my playtime. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Anyway, yeah, we'll try again. So this time, if we at least get 30 seconds, I will continue, and I'll just play a demo at the end. And to be honest, we could probably still PB. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, this is Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This is mainly a submission video. It is also using a new route, so there will be a little bit of back and forth to make sure I'm following the right minigame path. But yeah, if you're familiar with my previous submissions, you will know this is a very expected submission. Anyone else should be thinking, why would you run this? In fact, I've had a lot of comments of that. Of why are you running this? And it's a good question. And the reason being is it's been marketed very poorly. It is a tech demo. It has a bunch of mini games in here, very similar to sort of Wii Play, games like that in the Wii series that I have run a lot of in the past and submitted to many marathons in the past as well. Now, this is 100 medals. So basically what we're doing is we're going around, we're collecting each stamp in every area. When we get all the buttons in an area, we can move to the next one. But what we're doing in the meantime is we can play mini games and demos, mostly mini games because they're the faster ones, and or they pretty much give you more medals. But the main thing to note here is we have slightly optimized the stamp collecting as well here. You might think this is kind of a bit of a mundane section. This is kind of important because what we are doing is moving the camera manually at very specific points I have on my notes. And the reason for that is because if you come across specific buttons, like the magnetic connector, if the camera moves on its own, it is very slow. If you do right stick movement, it will change the camera very quickly. So, not all the buttons and minigames have this problem, but a lot of them do. And the first thing we got here is our first minigame, a couple of minutes in already. It is dodge the spike balls. And pretty much the game tells you can get a medal for 20 seconds, 2 medals for 30. But if you survive for 50, you get a super secret third medal. So we're going to go for that, obviously. I will need a little bit of quiet for this just to try and get a run going. It's not the end of the world if, to be honest, in a no reset, I would take 20 seconds. Or even just try again. But there are specific patterns to this. It is a little bit RNG dependent. You know, you can just get unlucky in this game, to be honest. But hopefully we do not. Yeah, so there's a ball. You can manipulate some of these, but there's a ball that comes at you at an angle, so you don't want to sit in the same place all the time. 47. Okay. So it's unfortunate. We're only going to be getting 2 medals, but that is fine. We will continue with that. does mean we're going to have to play a backup demo later, most likely. Either that or there is a game later that I am not overly good at, that I get 2 medals in usually, just as a safe routing strat, but I can get 3 if pushed. So we will probably go for 3. So next one is Spike Balls 2, and this one you need 60 stars. That is a skip split, because I am not used to having sub-splits in this. Normally I just have 1 for each area. There is actually a skip here. If I do very well and get very lucky with where the stars spawn, there are only about 80 stars in the first section, and then the game pauses for about 5 seconds to not give you any stars. If I can pick up enough stars in this first section, I will be able to skip that pause and actually end the game slightly early. Now, again, we are getting a little bit unlucky here with where the stars are spawning, so we will see if it happens. And I don't want to risk it too much, because I would rather live. 58. Oh, and then I end up not surviving. That's unfortunate. We will go again. It's a fairly quick one. The estimate's pretty generous for this. But yeah, it's a tricky skip. I would like to have 1 or 2 attempts. Doing a submission is so irritating sometimes. Come on, I want to get a decent run. Maybe it's a good thing I couldn't stream yesterday, because yesterday it would literally have had to be a 1 and done. He's so irritated that Spike Balls is the first bit as well. Come on, I can't show off game overs. Like, I need it to be at least decent. I'm fine with failing Spike Balls, but failing both is not a good look. Not when that's my bread and butter, like, best game in here. I'm gonna take a quick drink break, but I do need to get a run going. My estimate's an hour, so it's not a problem, but yeah. I would like this to be the run. Alright, this is Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This is a game I've been running lately, mainly because this is very similar to other games I've run, very similar to Wii Series games, Wii Play in particular, which I've put a lot of time into in the past 4 years. Yeah, anyone else, you'd kind of think this is a very odd game to speedrun, but for me, this is just normal. Basically, this is 100 medals, so Nintendo marketed this quite poorly. They marketed this as kind of an introduction to the console. You get to do some quizzes, stuff like that. We don't have to do any of that. We can just ignore most of that. We only have to collect the buttons to unlock each area, and that is actually kind of interesting. You wouldn't expect it to be. Basically, I am doing these precise movements with the camera to make sure that the manual camera movements don't happen, because those ones are very slow. So by me turning the camera while I'm moving, that avoids that from happening, and it does save a surprising amount of time in this run. Now, the main thing with 100 medals is we are going to be playing mini-games and demos, mostly mini-games, because they are the ones that give the most medals. They're the quickest ones to play a lot of the time. We do have backup demos, but for the most part, we will be playing mini-games in here. And the minimum we need to play is 34, because you can get three medals in every game. There are 2 medals, and then there's a super secret third one that a lot of people don't know about, because even after you get the second medal, the game doesn't really reveal the third medal requirement to you until you've played a few times, pretty much. But this is Dodge the Spike Balls, so this is our first mini-game in here. This is one a lot of people will be familiar with. Basically, we are controlling this UFO using mouse controls, and we are aiming for 50 seconds. I can take 30, or really 20, to be honest. It only is... it only means we're going to have to do backup games later if I take any less than that. Yeah, we'll need a little bit of focus when we get to these first couple of mini-games. Most of them are pretty chill, but this one is pretty intense. But pretty much I don't want to sit in the same spot, because otherwise the angled ball will come towards me, it kind of zones in on you, and that will pretty much finish you off. Otherwise, the sides are really, really powerful in this game, so we will be camping those a lot. And at 50 seconds, we can just kind of, you know, quickly move and make sure we can lose as fast as possible. If I live for a split second longer, there is a big red ball that comes towards you, and they are also, you know, a lot of the cycles in the Spike Balls games, they can be manipulated. So the green ones always come up at specific intervals. The big balls will always home in on you, and using that knowledge, you can actually survive for a very, very long time. In fact, in the run, if we want, I can do kind of an extra 10-minute or so showcase and kind of show off some of these longer games. The survival run, I have a PB of over 2 minutes 10 in Spike Balls 1. Very RNG dependent past a specific point, but yeah, getting a decent run should at least be possible. Now this is kind of tricky because what we want to do here is we want to get 60 points. But we want to get that fairly quickly, and the reason for that is because if we pick up enough stars at the beginning, we can actually skip a cycle. I don't think I'm on pace for it. It's very, very tricky, unless I get a little bit lucky here. Yeah, 55. So we're going to have to wait a few seconds. Stars stop spawning, and then you just get a really easy section here, and then you get to 60, and that is your third medal. I'm going to have to get used to sub-splits as well, because I used to not have sub-splits for this game. So I'm finding that a little bit tricky. The PB I'm comparing against is using a different split timing as well, so it's going to get a little bit odd in places. It's going to look like we're ahead, but we're actually not as ahead. But hey, it just makes me look good at the beginning of the run, what can I say? Anyway, funny strats start to kick in this game. This is now Find the Strongest Rumble. This game is pretty unfair. If you've played this game, you'll realise this is probably the worst medal requirement Nintendo have ever put in a game ever. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hold the remote close to the microphone, and I'm going to feel for the weakest rumble. And then what we're going to do, which is here, we're going to count from this line, we're going to count 7 big ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to go for that there, and it should be roughly correct. There you go. Or exactly correct. That is also fine. Pretty much, this game, the distance between the weakest rumble and the midpoint, the strongest, is 399 pixels. So what you want to do is find one of the edges and just count 7 big lines, 1 small line, and a couple of pixels. We got pretty lucky there that it was just really easy, just dead center after counting the small ones. So I could just count the 7 lines. What we have now, though, is we have 2 axes. So to counteract that, we have to use a circle. Now, I've got an actual circle tool on OBS to do this, so I will try and make use of that. Basically, same thing here. I'm going to try and find an edge of the circle, and we're then going to work inwards, basically. The tools. Yes, the tools are pretty funny. You think this is funny? We got an even better one later. Feel the shape is the funniest one, because we're going to be using heat maps. But that's a spoiler for later. So what we need to do is we can pretty much feel out dead zones. So I'm going to try and work out. Again, I'm going to put the controller close to the microphone so you can slightly hear it. I will take 2 medals here. If we only get 2, that's fine. I would like 3, but if we only get 2, then so be it. This is looking okay. So I'm going to go for it soon, I think. But yeah, it should be roughly in the middle now. Ooh, quite far away. That's fine. We'll just take our first try, so no reset. It's all good. So it's 50 pixels for the first medal, 20 for the last one, and 3 for the second one, and 3 for the last medal. So unfortunately, it is a little bit tricky. That is another split that I have missed. That is fine. I need to get the capture button, and then we are done with buttons for this area. So when we've collected all the buttons, the next area unlocks, and we can move on. So yeah, unfortunately we're a medal behind. It is fine because we have backups. Not only that, but there is a game later that I normally go for 2, just to be on the safe side with the routing. Because it's a very, very tricky one to get 3 medals. But it is fine. We will go with this. And now we move on to the actual console. Now, the funny thing with the console is this actually has ice physics. I don't know why they implemented ice physics for this. But go off, I guess. So anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to use those a little bit. It's a little bit tricky to do that as well because the place that the buttons actually appear, like the podiums for each button to collect each stamp, they are kind of tricky to know exactly where they are because they don't appear until you're very close to them. So we kind of have to zone in on them when we get to a certain point. Now what we're going to do is go to the center. We're actually going to do that deliberately. We're going to trip there. And then we're going to pick up the podium because you can do that even while you've tripped up. I don't know why they added trip physics to this game. I don't know why they thought this was Smash Bros. Brawl. But yeah, once again, they just went in on this when they absolutely did not need to. So unfortunately in Area B, there is not... there's no mini game we're going to be playing. There is a quick demo that we can play, the microphone testing demo. Now, demos only give you 1 medal. So, although they're fairly quick most of the time, we're not going to be playing a lot of them. And what we're going to do here is, once again, tons of warps in this game. You can warp pretty much anywhere. We're going to warp to the air vent and collect the rest of the buttons here. The funny thing with the microphone game is you can actually just... like, it pretty much... it's like noise cancelling. So it tests sort of noise cancelling on the Switch 2 and the fact that you can talk into the controller and it will get rid of all the background noise. Oh, hang on a minute. That is... Where am I going? Where am I going? I need to go down here. See, I'm used to playing the demo there. Once again, moving the camera for the magnetic connector just to speed it up a little bit. And then that is the end of that area. Yeah, exactly. It's Nintendo. This is what Nintendo do in games like this. Yeah, so the funny thing with the noise cancelling game is you can actually end the recording early and play back, and end the playback early as well, because they're the only requirements to collect the demo medal. Basically, each demo has like a checklist of things to do, and yeah, that's all that one has. I am very confused by that split. I don't think I should be that far ahead, but sure. Anyway, we are going to move to this button, and we will be playing a mini game in this section. We will be playing Speed Maze. Very, very tricky one for me. So we'll see how that goes. Can be pretty tricky. But a lot of the games in here use mouse controls. A lot of them use rumble, so I will be putting the controller close to the microphone for those. But the funny thing is the rumble games, although you can't really see a lot of what's going on, those are also the ones coincidentally that I've developed cheat tools for. And feel the shape heat map later is going to be pretty funny. So yeah, we will see. We will hope that goes well. So we're going to move down here, collect the rest of these buttons. And once again, moving the camera around. This one's not too bad because we're pretty much facing left for most of this. So yeah, each minigame has a specific medal threshold. So some of these minigames you might notice there are multiple podiums. So for example, Spike Balls had 4 podiums to play the minigame at. Rumble, Find the Strongest Rumble, had 3 of them. Speed Maze we're about to play has 4. But we pretty much can't play all of them. Do not talk to the NPC, don't do that. Yeah, we pretty much can't play all of them at this stage. So we do need to revisit later. And we will also be playing touchscreen as part of this run, although there is a non-touchscreen variant of this. So it's 1.8 seconds here. So we're just going to try and lock in. Mouse controls can be really difficult. Ooh, just failing at the end. Just at last second there. No! I keep jolting a little bit. There we go. 1.44 is very good for RTA. So it's 1.8. I mainly just rush a little bit at the beginning because it gives me a bit more time to you know, line up a little bit at the end. I am surprised I got caught on that middle one. But it's pretty much just a maze where if you touch the electric bit, then you lose. And that is it. Except it is very, very quick to get those higher medals. So I'm going to go for 3 medals here as well. The third and fourth games I will go for 2. Although because we're a medal behind, I will probably go for 2. I'll probably go for 3 on the third one. We'll see how it goes. Nice, first try. That is really good. 2.5 seconds there. Yeah, very happy with that. And yo, Theon and End Music, thank you for the good luck. Yeah, I'm doing a bonus stream today because I couldn't yesterday. We're doing a little marathon submission video. No, do not do that. Yeah, I don't want to reset my splits. Let's not do that. I keep forgetting to split because I'm not used to having sub-splits after the minigames. Surely I will split for one of these. But it looks like we are roughly... I mean, I know we're further ahead than... we're further behind than the splits suggest. So I think I'm probably not overly ahead. But it's a bit difficult to tell when I've only got one split under my belt. But otherwise, this is going pretty well. I mean, if I can get that backup medal in Speed Maze later, then this is a pretty solid run. So we are now inside the Joy-Con, and it's a little bit trickier to tell where the buttons are here, where the podiums are, especially because they put the chip as a button. So at this point, I've kind of just memorized a lot of where the positions are. We're not actually going to be playing every area in here. There are a few minigames we're not going to see, and that is part of what the incentive will be, if there's one that I offer. It will pretty much be to show off all the minigames we don't see, as well as a couple of minigames that I can sort of extend that you don't normally see in this run because we're optimizing them for time rather to get the 3 medals rather than actually doing the IL for them. So that, once again, is another demo that I would usually play. And then this is one of the games... This is pretty much the game that made me think, when Nintendo showed off this game, it kind of made me think, hang on, this is very Wii Series coded. This is not a tech demo like they're marketing it to be, you know. It's a demo, but it is not, you know, all quiz and boring stuff. So, this is Speed Maze. What we want to do is that. So, I'm very happy I got that first try as well. Basically, 2 out of the 4 Speed Maze games, all of them will be playing, have 3 of the games. 2 of them have intended one-shots. 1 of them has an unintended. We will be doing all 3, though. And we're about to see the unintended one. So, pretty much, you don't get a lot of time in this game. You do not get a lot of time. That's why we want to be making use of these one-shots. And this one's very tricky because it's, again, unintended. 2.5 seconds to do 2 shots is very tricky. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to launch it at the pitfall, and we're going to hopefully clip the edge, barely, and we're going to get it in. Unfortunately, wasn't enough time to back it up to get it in the 2.5 seconds, so we're going to go again, see if I can get that still. Nope. The thing with this game is I do actually have a button remap. You wouldn't think this would be deep enough to worry about doing that, but it does make this a lot easier, specifically in Speed Maze. Because what I can then do is I can then reset much quicker. So I will talk a little bit more about it when I'm done with this, because I would like to get out of this game at some point today. It was too slow to stop. Yeah, as soon as the ball stops, that is when we can take our shot. Come on. Ah. This is being really tricky, and it's just not working for some reason. I could honestly quit with 2 medals, but I'm too stubborn. I want to get my 3. Okay, you know what? It's fine. We'll quit. We'll quit with 2. It's fine. Oh, that is a split there, actually. So yeah, as I mentioned, the splits are completely wrong because they are based on a completely different split timing. Unfortunate we can get 3 medals there, but as I said, we have loads of backups we can do. So it is all good. We did manage to do the strat. Unfortunately, it was not quick enough. It didn't go straight in the hole. Basically, the one shot, it's supposed to send the ball straight in the hole, but it's more of an IL strat, really. So what we can do is go to here. That is not the correct... Hang on a minute. Area C, 4 out of 20. So what we can do, go to here, warp to the A button, and pretty much... Sorry, talking and reading my notes at the same time is very tricky. Basically, by going into different menus, rather than scrolling through all the button menus, which is very slow, what we can actually do is we can instead cut to a menu that we haven't really unlocked a lot in. So like the demo menu or the minigame menu, and then we can go to the right area that we need to get to, and then go to the button section and warp to the correct button. It's a tiny optimization, but yeah, anything like that helps in this game. So we will collect a few more buttons here, and then we are going to move on to Click Quick. It is pretty much just a reaction test kind of minigame. The first one is very tricky because it wants you to click a target within 0.15 seconds. So we'll see if that happens. Slight bit of optimization there. We'll go for the locking mechanism. And then we need to turn around again. And then we'll go to the spawn point. Once again, very convenient to do that because you can just hold R and then go to the right one. So here we're going to play a couple of mini games. We're going to do both Click Quicks. Hopefully it goes okay. 0.15 seconds for the first one, so it is a little bit of a tricky shot to get those 3 medals. The IL for this is kind of funny. It is 0.05 seconds, so it's just a 2-frame IL. And it pretty much just involves jolting the controller to the right with the mouse controls and hoping for the best. Ooh, very close. Very close first try. Nice. Third try is very, very good here. Way above average. So as you can see, we can't really play safe there because even if you take a second, you're not getting a single medal. So we can't play too safely on these. And then the second one is 0.8. This one is a little bit more skill-based because 0.8 seconds to hit 3 targets does mean you don't have to completely rush it. But we'll see how it goes. Nice, first try, very good. Click Quick used to be a real trouble for me, but I'm starting to get a lot more comfortable with it now. So that is the end of that section. And coming up, we have the 4K Pixel Hunt minigame. Now, that is the main kind of difference for me. When I first started running this game, I did not have a 4K monitor. And I have since sort of upgraded a little bit to incorporate a 4K route since having a monitor that is capable of doing 4K. And the reason that is helpful is because the 4K Pixel Hunt game, there's only a single 4K game in here. But because it is so quick, and there's a quick optimization in the menu there. That's not a split. I keep splitting for each area. That's not what we want to do. Yeah, because the 4K Pixel Hunt game is very quick, it will actually save us a lot of time in here to play it. So there are only 2 games for the 4K Pixel Hunt, but that is 6 medals for us. And the only other option, really, to be fast in this game is, you know, I managed to get sub-hour with a non-4K, non-GLGR, non-camera route. GLGR being the controller that is either the Pro controller with the GLGR buttons or the charging grip for the Joy-Cons. Either works. I didn't really want to do that. And the funny thing with this game is, if you want to play the safer route, then playing the Pro Controller route is better. But the reason for that is because it gives you 9 medals. The consequence of that is, unfortunately, you then have to play an entire extra area of stamps. So it's obviously another couple of minutes of stamp collecting, which we don't want. You know, we want to minimize as much stamp collecting as possible. It's not as interesting as the minigames. So to compensate, and I will play the minigame first, actually, rather than going around and then forgetting to play the minigame in a second. It's more optimal to play the minigame first and then do the rest of the stamps here. Yeah, so pretty much the riskier route is actually to play the route I'm doing here, essentially. Nice. So unfortunately you can't see what's going on. It's a 4K game and you're watching in 720p. But, yeah, trust me, there are pixels there. Pretty much there's a pixel in 5 different places just going like this. Very, very small pixel. I turned the brightness up to max because there's nothing stopping you from doing that. The game tells you to turn it down to one that you can barely see. But to be honest, the game is hard enough as it is anyway to see where those pixels are. So, yeah, we're just going to go with the highest brightness. It's fine. And there is also another version of it. There's the LCD Pixel Hunt, which we will be playing in handheld mode later. I do have a non-handheld route because there is a subcategory for handheld and non-handheld. If you would prefer me to run the non-handheld version, that is absolutely fine. And it adds a few minutes onto the run. Obviously, I can still use the 4K game. It does mean it's actually a little bit trickier because I have less minigames to work with. I have to play slightly different ones. I have to incorporate 12 different medals into my route, basically. That's how tricky it is. I forgot to use the escalator. That is fine. Supposed to use the escalator there to be quick, but we're all good. And here, we're just going to turn the camera around once again. We're just going to keep on turning it right. And I think that is the correct angle. You want to be at the right angle when you enter an area because that is one of the slowest camera turns. Reset. SMH. Can't believe Mini bought a 4K monitor for one minigame in one speedrun. Yeah. Yeah, I totally did that. But yeah, we're going to play Feel the Shape 1. And now you're going to see what I'm talking about when I say heat maps. So, this is kind of quirky. Basically, I am going to feel very specific points on each shape. And each one of these is like a unique section, basically. So, by feeling those sections, we can always deduce which... that is not the right one. That is that one. And it should be... So, that is the pentagon. And then this one is a little bit trickier because the circle and the heart are very big. It's actually very tricky to work with those. So what we'll do instead is we will go... Hang on. So we now have... I think this is the... That's the hardest one. That is the rotated square. And the reason for that is because there is no unique spot for the rotated square. So that all went by very quickly. We will be playing the alphabet version later. But basically... Every unique spot on the heat map is unique, except for that final one where you have so many to work with, and the circle and the heart are just too big for it to work properly. So instead, what we do is find if it's the circle or the heart at first, and then if it isn't, then you know it cannot be any of those. You can safely work with any of the others. The star has a very tricky hitbox, pretty much, but... I keep turning the wrong way. That's fine. Yeah, the star has a very tricky hitbox because there's only like 1 or 2 pixels in the bottom left. That's why I took my time a little bit there. But it's all good. We managed to get through. And then the only one that has no unique zone is the rotated square. Now, later on, the alphabet is actually going to be 12 different possible answers eventually. So that is very, very tricky. We now need to go and do 4K Pixel Hunt which I cannot do because I don't have the medals. Okay, that is an issue with this route. I need to go and do a backup right now, which is Area B, the microphone. We're going to go and do that one. Yeah, this is the problem now. This route very much prioritizes being optimal, and unfortunately, it did not compensate for the fact that I missed the medal very early in the run. But yeah, it's a no reset. So as I said, you can just end the recording early and you can finish the demo. That is it. There are some kind of funny demos in here. Like there's a demo for Mario Bros, which is kind of funny. There it is. Yeah, so the original NES Mario Bros is one of the demos, 4K Mario Bros 1-1, and it pretty much just makes it the pixel size of the NES, so you're pretty much just playing 1-1 on a very, very tiny screen in the middle. It is just comedy, to be honest. So this is the same as before. This is Pixel Hunt, but the pixels are moving around this time. Again, you cannot see what's going on. I apologize. That's because you're watching a 4K game in a 720p feed. But trust me, they're there. That is the end of the 4K section. We're all done. But what we will do now is we will actually revisit Spike Balls. We will revisit Spike Balls 3. And we're going to go for the twin mouse mode. So 3 and 4 in Spike Balls essentially have you controlling both mice at the same time. So I will be using both. And I guess if you wanted me to, I can kind of move the webcam down at this point so you can actually see what I'm doing. Like that. But we need 30 points here. And normally when I started out, I would try and keep the mice close together. I do fly a bit close to the sun nowadays to try and be quick here. To be honest, I probably shouldn't. And I kind of separate them a little bit. Hey, I want to save time. That's our 30. That's very, very quick, actually. So yeah, it depends really. Like I do have a second camera that I can point at the mouse controls at all times if really wanted. I guess it kind of works as like an input display in a way. It's just a physical input display. And then now we are at Spike Balls, we can now just come straight down to here. And that is the end of that section. And I didn't split at the right time, but that is okay. The Wii Play 2P experience coming in handy here. Totally transferable skill, yeah. I would say I'm honestly better at it here than than Wii Play. But yeah, I can do tanks 1P 2C, I guess. So we are now once again inside the other Joy-Con. And we're going to pick up a couple of different stamps. And then we're going to play Colour the Shape. Another very, very quick game. These do get tricky eventually, but this one is only 5 seconds allowed for the first, for the 3 middle requirement. Now, the gimmick with this one is if you colour outside the lines at all, you lose. So I do have to play a little bit safe. Like that. Don't do that. Nice. Just making sure I play a little bit slowly. Fast enough for 5 seconds. This will surely transfer over to Wii Play Motion. Yeah, I've tried Wii Play Motion 2-player. That is pretty tough. It's pretty tough in... what is it? Spooky Search. Trigger Twist is surprisingly simple. And that's the main time saving plats. So I will be running Wii Play Motion again. IL strats only. No, that's a shame. So this one's 10 seconds. Yeah, and there's a tiny little bit of tolerance. You pretty much need like 99.99%. You can leave a few pixels and it won't punish you. But If you leave anything larger than that, it is going to require you to colour that in. And that is that one done as well. Once again, the splits are inaccurate because I'm comparing against a completely different split timing. But otherwise, that is a pretty good section. And we're then going to go up here, and then we're going to do the biggest warp of the entire game. Watch this. One button down. Incredible optimization. But it's faster. So, I mean, we're doing it. We are doing it. Okay, so now I'm actually not behind on medals. So I was thinking of doing Match the Rumble. Now, I could do this in the run, just so we get to play more minigames. Basically, it's a Rumble game where you have to match pairs. It's just a matching minigame. The problem is, getting 3 medals is complete RNG. Like, there's only about a 50-60% chance. I haven't done the exact maths. But it's a fairly low chance of being able to get 3 medals there. You can only make 3 mistakes. If you make a 4th mistake, you can't get the 3rd medal. So it's very tricky. And we're now moving on. So thankfully, we are now done with stamp collecting. It only really lasts for the first sort of half of the run. At this point onwards, it is just mini-games all the way. Because if we were doing the Pro Controller route, we would have to get all the buttons here to unlock the Pro Controller area. We don't have to do that. This is the last area for us. All the mini-games are available to us. So this is now Balloon Hunt. We got 9 seconds here. We have very precise routes to get a sub 9. And I've also been doing ILs for Balloon Hunt 2 and 3 because they are my weak points here. So hopefully we can get out of those first try. We will see. We'll see. It's going to be a real test to see if I remember my strats. But basically, straight lines are your friend. Because you can move with the left stick, and we're obviously using the mouse to actually aim. Now, the funny thing with Balloon Hunt 3 is there is an ex-Fortnite player who had world record, which is kind of funny. Raise fire. So we're going to go for a strat to hopefully pick up these small balloons. Yeah, nice. So played fairly slowly there just to make sure we got the 3 medals, but knowing that my route is quite comfortable now. Balloon Hunt 2 is actually harder on paper than Balloon Hunt 3. Balloon Hunt 3, the world record is like a second or 2 faster. And the reason for that is because Balloon Hunt 2, you have to hit that middle balloon. Balloon Hunt 3, it's slightly different because you can actually hit the golden balloon under the 3 main red balloons, and that will pop all of them. So Balloon Hunt 3 in a way is quicker. And we're hopefully going to see that here. But we are going to have to do a quick 90-degree turn, very sharp turn at the beginning. Nice. Sub 12. There you go. So it was better. Significantly better. I mean, I did also play better. 11 seconds RTA is very, very good. But yeah, otherwise, very happy with that. So we are now going to move on to Scrape Off. And this minigame is pretty tricky. This is notoriously one of my worst ones. I do have plans if I only get 2 medals here, or even worse. But pretty much you just have to go really hard on the scraping, and that is all. And hope it works. Nice. Sub 15 there, not too bad. The next one's sub 26. So it's a much, much trickier one. Basically, there's a handprint in the middle, which is the main one you have to do. And then there is the... there's like a massive paint splodge around it, but that all scrapes off with no sort of hard movements needed. So what you want to do is you want to just prioritize the hand in the middle and work around like trying to get the big paint off surrounding it after that. That's kind of my strat here. But yeah, again, if I only get 2 medals, it is okay. It's not ideal, but it is okay. Ooh, we got it. Nice. That is really good. I thought I ticked over by a second there. I try and keep an eye on the timer in the corner, but I thought I ticked to 26, so I was actually reserved to only getting 2 there, but you still got to just go all in. Got to always just try for that. Okay, so next up, we'll go back to fill the shapes. We're going to do the alphabet one this time. Now, the trouble with the alphabet one, and these heat maps took me a long time. Compared to the fill the shape, alphabet took me way longer. And the reason for that is because even from the beginning, there are minimum 3 answers. So I will have to lock in a bit here. So nice beginning. Oh, and a good second one as well. But yeah, essentially these are very, very small, unique areas to work with compared to the previous ones. And then here, this is actually a... Wow, that is very lucky. 1 in 12, right at the end. That is a 3-part heat map. Let it be known. You have to try all 4 of those, and then try this one, and then try this one. It's a very, very tricky game. So, and you have to do them all in order. You can't... like, pretty much you have to start with one section and then move to the other one. And now what we're going to do is move down to here, and we're going to play the touchscreen section. So if we go to Balloon Hunt 3, this is very short, by the way. Obviously, this is not a great camera for this. I do actually have a slightly better setup to do this for a marathon, which I would do because, you know, this doesn't look good. I would use an iPad camera. It actually looks very good. I've recorded some of my touchscreen ILs with that camera, and yeah, you can clearly see everything that's going on. Unfortunately, that is slower. So if I'm in an actual speed run, then we won't be doing that. Ooh, that's a shame. I accidentally clicked too early. Nice. Pretty good game though. So the games we're going to be playing in touchscreen mode is LCD Pixel Hunt 1 and 2 and Touch 10 1 and 2, which is pretty much legally distinct Twister, which is kind of funny. Twister but with your fingies. It is an interesting game. Especially because you can technically use your nose as a backup if you get particularly unlucky. Yeah, nice. So it's only 8 seconds. 10 seconds and 8 seconds for the 3 medals here. 3.33, interesting. Nice setup. Yeah, it's this is not the best for this. Again, we do have a better setup for the marathon, but it's way slower. Takes me like another 30 seconds to set up, and that's just too much time loss. We can't do that. So we now need to go over to here. No, that's the wrong section. Just go to there, that'll do. We need to go somewhere in at least the correct area. Go to area B. So this is touch 10 2. Now I have a very specific strat for this. I want to get my hand ready with my left hand, because basically what this will do is it will tell you to touch a colour. And there are 4 colours in this first mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to buff out our inputs, and that means one of them will go through. You can only do one at a time, though, so the moment the pink one has gone through, we will then buffer another one, and then we'll buffer another green, and then another pink. Hopefully we won't get too many pinks and greens, because we're already getting a few too many for my liking. There is no limit to how many of these you can get. If we get a green and a yellow, it is done. No, we don't. Oh, barely managed to reach my thumb. Nice. So I had to kind of reach like that, and sometimes if you're reaching with like the side of your thumb, where like the thumbnail is, it barely registers, really. But thankfully, the touchscreen played ball today. But there is no limit to how much of one colour you can get. It can just keep giving you the same one in a row sometimes. I've had games where it gives you 5 of the same colour, which is just so mean. But originally, the touchscreen section, and this is the main reroute and the reason why my splits are all wrong, basically, I would have originally ended with the touchscreen section, but I've actually realised that it's better to play this in the middle to minimise our menuing for the revisit games in a moment. So we're starting off with a blue. That's not too bad because there's another blue in the corner. So these are now randomised. Every time you play will be different. That's tricky. Is there another yellow somewhere? That was a very mean game of Touch 10. I mean, if you get lucky, you can just buffer all 10 inputs and get a frame-perfect, like, human limit IL, which is kind of funny. Unfortunately, we did not get that. So we will now dock once again. And hopefully it will come back on. There it is. Okay, and then we're going to go to Speed Maze 3. So, we are still a medal behind. We need 23 medals, and normally I'd only get 2 medals here. So this would take me up to 79, but I need to be on 80, really. So if I can, I would love to get 3 medals, but it's 3 seconds for 3 medals, which is really tough. Yes, nice. That's really, really good. And that is the reason why I would love to add this back into my route again, but it's just so tricky. It is so tricky to get that in 3 seconds. The circle at the end is so tight. You cannot touch it at all. Otherwise, it's just over. So we are now back on track. We do not have to play a bonus demo. I mean, we already played one. We didn't want to play another one. So that's nice. That's very good. So next is Speed Maze 4. So this time, thankfully, we don't need to do that. Now, this one is really odd. It's 0.5 seconds for 3 medals, but we're going to go for 1.2 seconds. And you might think, like, surely the game restarts where the gates are. But no, the game actually does not do that here. It does do that in other games like Click Quick and things like that. But for some reason, they just never did for Speed Maze 4 specifically. So the funny thing is, not only does it make it really tricky to get 0.5 seconds reliably, but it also means that the IL is 0.05 seconds. It's pretty much just a glorified Click Quick IL, which is kind of funny. So this is now very, very tricky. 3-shot win. It can be 4 if needed. Oh, just did a completely wrong angle compared to what I wanted to do. But it's 7.5 seconds here, so it's a really, really tight one. Nope, that's not going to go in, sadly. There is also an IL where you can like cut the corner a little bit, but that is very, very tricky. No, come on, register properly. Yeah, it's very, very finicky to get the right amount of power in this game. I'm surprised that was good. Oh, come on! It keeps doing a slightly wrong angle for the last shot. Nope. Yeah, 7.5, as you can see, if you take your shots very, very quickly, you can be okay at the end there. There we go. Nice. Had the time to line up there that time. Okay, good. So that's goal 3. Very nice. And then goal 4 has, once again, another one shot, which we will hopefully get fairly quickly. We shall see. But because of this reroute, it now means we can just play 3 and 4 at the same time. Normally, we'd have to warp around because a lot of these high medal requirements, like this one is 81. Normally, we'd have had to play Speed Golf 3, go and do the other minigame revisits, and then come back and do Golf 4. But because I've now done touchscreen in the middle, we do not have to do that. So I've actually remapped the retry button to left on the left Joy-Con. And the reason for that is because it pretty much allows me, like the restart button is normally on the right Joy-Con, which is what I'm using for, you know, actually playing the video game. So I can't use that. That is out of action. Oh, almost managed to get it there. It just barely clipped out. So yeah, we just need to get this one shot. There are a few different angles where if you get lucky, you can like back it up. And you have 3.5 seconds here. So realistically, you can actually back it up if you get time. No, that's not going to be enough. Yeah, I was blocked there. I couldn't possibly back that up. Nope. Come on, let me through. Yeah, see, that's just brushing past the hole, unfortunately. There we go. So 0.98 is pretty good there. Nice. So we now have Click Quick 3, Click Quick 4, Colour the Shapes, and Colour the Shapes 4. And then we are finished. That is the end of the run at that stage. So, depending on how these go, we could have a very good run on our hands here. Again, estimate is an hour. So with this reroute, we are saving time, but whether it's enough for a PB is another thing. I mean, I will pretty much need to get all these games first try, which is tricky. 1 second here for 4 targets. Nope. Oh, so close. Nope. Bit too slow in the end. Getting a lot of good paces, though. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Good sign that we got a lot of one-aways that were pretty close. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying with Speed Maze, it resets in Click Quick every time you restart. But in Speed Maze, it doesn't. So it's very, very tricky to do that consistently. And then this one is a randomized targets one. So we need 1.8 seconds for this. Ooh, that's rough. So something I've noticed is if you get one that's far away at the beginning, it will actually make the others slightly easier. And I'm not going to take a 2 medal. Not at this stage. Need to try again. Come on. Bit too slow there in the middle. So yeah, I pretty much find that there's like a set distance that all of them have to be total. So if you get one that's far away at the beginning, yes, it's tricky. But at the end, yeah, as you can see, the last one was really close together. So it's really, it's kind of nice that the game works that way. Thank you for the luck and the good luck. So we've got 2 more games to go, and it is Colour the Shapes 3 and 4, the best game in here. Actually, no, that's Spike Balls. Spike Balls is the best one. So this one is 25 seconds for the 3 middle, but the IL that I have gets a 13.xx. So you know what, PB's off. We're just going to go all in here, see if we can get a decent time. $14, nice. Wow, first try 14. About a month ago, I was struggling to get 3 medals consistently here, and now we just bump out a 14 second. Nice, pretty good. And then the final one is the snake, and then we are finished with the run. So time happens when 100 medals appears. And this is actually a pretty tricky last game. We need to get this in sub 8 seconds. So it only really gives you time to work from one side, and then you have maybe a couple of seconds at the end, if you're fast enough, to clean up any missed areas. Yeah, that was not the best. Ooh, barely got it. Nice. Pretty decent. By 0.04. Listen, that's my only close one of the run. So, time is coming up when 100 medals appears. And that's time. 53. Not bad. 53, no reset. I did not expect that at all. This new route is clearly very, very useful for that. So just before we end, we will switch profiles to show off a couple of those other games I was talking about. Some of these ILs. We'll see how this goes. It's not guaranteed to go well first try, but hopefully we can get a couple of decent ones in here. So I'm going to show you the games that we don't see. Unfortunately, I don't have a GLGR controller, so I can't show you the GLGR locks game. However, we have stunt driving, breaststroke, which is not a good game, do not recommend, and slot in the shapes, which I did an unreasonable amount of ILing. Like, this game has a lot of interesting IL potential, which is kind of funny, because so many of the games have in-game timers. Thanks for the GG Seagull and GP. So this minigame is kind of funny. Basically, you have to lift the mouse on its side. But the way the momentum works in this game is that you don't want to be moving side to side very much. And the way to minimize your speed is if you do all your movements very quickly after you've just landed from being on the side of the car. And the interesting thing is some of these boosts are actually not worth taking, which is very odd. I don't really get why. So yeah, it's a 38. 40 seconds for the third middle, so we managed to get that. The other one is a little bit trickier. It's actually a second harder because there are more boosts on the course, but there's a lot more that can go wrong with the off-road sections and stuff like that. So once again, we're going to calibrate. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll give it one attempt, but we need sub 39 for 3 medals here. And I will go for a pretty risky route, because that's the only way you're going to get 3 medals here. So yeah, doing these sharp movements does help. There we go, and we'll just stay in the air. And in this final section, you're kind of closed in. You have to make sure you're dead center. That's a PB. That's a PB and a no reset. Okay, I will take that. That's pretty good. 38.54. This game is very odd. This game is very odd. Sometimes it just gives you PBs. I don't really know how. To be fair, I haven't grinded that one as much. I grinded number 1 a lot more. But yeah, that's a PB. Sure. This is breaststroke. This game is not as good. I will show you what I'm doing. You pretty much have to do this with the controllers. It's sub 7 for the 3rd medal. So we managed to get it there. I struggled for the longest time on this. I must have taken like 40 minutes to get this first try. It just refuses to work. Normally this is what happens. And you end up veering off course. That is actually a tied PB. Incredible. You know what? We'll go one more. Yeah, that's normally what happens. You just end up getting stuck. Yeah, that's 3 medals again. For some reason, I really struggled to do that the first time I played the game. And now it just isn't a problem for some reason. I don't know why. But it's a very strange game. Like, you'd kind of think it would want you to do this in a bit of a slow motion to actually, like, not move the controllers too quickly. But no, it wants you to do this. It wants you to go all in. So here, this is now slotting the shapes. I IL'd this for a little while. Basically, you just have to twist the mouse control around. That's the first one. The second one's a bit more interesting because we have 8 shapes. So you actually have to kind of react on the fly where each one is, rather than just there is a slightly different angle sometimes, and that's about it. So yeah, these are the last mini games, and then I might show you Spike Balls 1 survival mode past the 50-second point, because that is a lot more interesting when you get into the deep end of that game. So the interesting thing with the moving slots is that eventually they can actually move into the correct place. Yeah, 12.18. No reset is very good there. So there is actually another run I can do of all single medals NG+, which is pretty much just this, but playing every game to at least the single medal completion, which is quite nice because it's actually a shorter run than this. But it also shows off more of the mini-games. There is also the camera mini-game. You know what, we'll show off the camera mini-game, actually. The camera mini-game is the best one. Let's be real, the camera mini-game is the best one. So, we are going to connect a USB camera. This is the best thing about this. You don't need the Nintendo camera. You can just connect a USB. And it just works fine. So, what we're going to do instead of Spike Balls, because we've already seen Spike Balls, we're going to do the facial expressions challenge. So I'm going to put my face here, and the game is going to give me a bunch of silly different faces, and that's about it. That's the game. This is way too slow for speedruns. This was in my first route, and then I instantly knew which game to cut out, pretty much. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. Eyebrows is notoriously, like, the hardest stat in here to get, well, to get, like, a good stat for. 95 is very nice. That's, like, almost tied PB. Nine for the eyebrows. Wow, okay. 9 for the eyebrows. Sure. I mean, I did say it was pretty stingy, but that's very stingy. So you get to do 5 faces here. So as I say, this is really, really slow. 450 for 3 medals. So it's really, really tricky. Yeah, it does not know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna lie, the game is just so lost as to what I'm doing. Yeah, the mouth I think was thrown off because it doesn't seem to register puffing one cheek very well. Okay, that was actually a pretty good one. So this game in full takes like 2 minutes. But you know what? It's funny enough to, I think, to show off. In my opinion. Oh, I didn't move my eye the other direction. That's a shame. That's not going to give me a good score. See, 17, it still gives me more for that than the eyebrows. The eyebrows are just so stingy. What can I say? So yeah, that is the end of the game and the end of the run. Thanks for watching. Yeah, very silly speedrun, as I say. Yeah, I threw on the last one, what can I say? Got like 80. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Obviously it's an estimate of an hour. I should beat that because I've been practicing this game a lot lately and grinding it down, hopefully trying to get a sub 50. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, if needed for even more time for like a incentive, we can do survival mode spike balls as well. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Yo, where is my alert? Why is that just not there? Oh, is it because it's behind the camera? Yo, Conker with the Prime Gaming, though. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's because it's behind my face cam. You joking? Thank you so much for the Prime. Enjoy the emotes and the ad-free. Literally right at the end of the run. Appreciate that. Yeah, unfortunately, we are about to head off. You know what? We could do, as I was saying, a very, very quick survival mode run. Why not? We can do that, right? But honestly, though, thanks for the GGs as well, Theon. Honestly, though, comments on that run, I am absolutely gonna slay. I am absolutely gonna slay sub 50. I can't lie. Sub 50 is happening. Like, I don't know what to say. That's just happening. So, yeah, like, that route, like, that was not good. I missed 2 medals. I got Speed Maze 3 medals as a backup first try, which obviously was the highlight of the run. But yeah, I mean, that was so good, genuinely. Like, if I got every game at the end first try and Golf 4 wasn't a massive pain, that would have been, sorry, Golf 3 and Golf 4. If they both weren't a massive pain, that could have been world record. That could have been like a high 51. Genuinely, that was really, really good. I will probably go for a 50, a sub 50. I don't know if I'll go much further than that because that was really good. But there was a lot of flailing around where I was talking at the same time, which is only reasonable for a run like this. But I'm still very, very happy. Yeah, good to get this done, and I will probably submit this alongside all single medals NG+. I'm happy that this is my good submission, and I've now also got all single medals NG+ on the side to submit, which is like 40 minutes. So at least there's that as an option then. But yeah, been a while since I caught a stream call at the end, I guess. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, you've been following for a long time. Yeah, I hope it's going well. Slay. Yeah, we are hopefully going to slay. We are going to slay sub 50. So what we'll do, just to end the stream then, we'll do a couple of ILs of Dodge the Spike Balls 1, because I do want to get world record here. This is a very tricky IL. World record is 137 point something, and I have a 135. So I am very close, but I still don't have it. So this is what I was going to show off as part of the incentive in that run. Yeah, to be honest, I think if I'm submitting this alongside Secret Rings, I don't think this game has much of a chance of getting into many marathons. Unless they really, really want to have a Switch 2 game there. And no one's submitting Bonanza. In which case they don't have much choice. That or Mario Kart World, obviously. Ah, oh, dang it. Why is this game being such a pain today? Like, it's only 50 seconds. Yeah, not only that, in that route, I missed 2 medals. I had to play a backup demo. Like, I would not have ordinarily taken a run like that. And I also took a while on Rumble 2 and only got 2 medals. There were a lot of flaws to that run. Like, I can easily improve that. And I also need to remember to use my sub-splits. That would be nice. So at 50 seconds, this gets really, really tricky. I mean, it's already pretty tricky, but it gets even harder at 50. 50 to 60 is when it starts throwing red balls. Yeah, you wanna hug the sides so it manipulates the red balls to go on the sides. And then obviously they have a lot less space to actually hit you. So again, I'm only a couple of seconds off world record here. I've had so many paces, but they all die. They all die because the game gets so tough at like 2 minutes. Oh, that was tight. Yeah, that was just impossible to get out of. Like, there were not many openings there at all. Alright, we'll give it a couple more goes. Yeah, it was a bit of a shame that the Rumble 2 did not go according to plan with how long I took on it. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping as long as I like play safe here, we should do okay, but yeah, it just wasn't really playing ball. It's very difficult to use the circle tool while talking at the same time and working out where the weak rumble is and where the dead zones are. Ooh, barely dodged there, and again. It's just so many tricky areas. I don't really want to be hugging the side all the time. That's like my get out if I really need it. Because if you hug it all the time, you get tons of angled balls coming towards you. Oh no! That's not good. This game is stressful to watch. It's stressful to play. It's stressful for both. It gets so brutal. Like, I want to just get another run for you at like 2 minutes. 2 minutes is where the game gets really, really intense. Like, the only thing I can think of in like Wii Play terms is table tennis. Like, this is very similar to how difficult table tennis gets. Like, I imagine if I grinded table tennis, this is what it would be like at like 400, 500 points. At the same stage as like 2 minutes in this game. Very, very tricky. I imagine if some of the Wii Play folks got their hands on this game, they would absolutely slay. They would crush this one. Maybe even beat my second place, or even record. Yeah, I would say you get a break here, but you don't. Like, there's still tons of balls. And yeah, at this stage you only get one that homes in on you, the other one is random, so you can get unlucky here. And just get two coming towards you. Okay. At least I don't, if it's not random, I don't know how it's predetermined. Therefore it's random to me. Right, come on. Oh, it always dies so quickly after 2 minutes. Like, it wasn't even to one of the red balls. Literally, as soon as the game starts cooking. Ah. One day I'll get that world record. I'm 2 seconds away, come on. Alright, what else do we do to end? I should go now, but we'll show you one more game. Go on, let's do twin UFOs. I have a PB of what, like 155 on this or something. Kind of funny that 2 of my PBs in the star modes are 155 now. Like, there's not a limit in this game, it's just where both PBs stopped. Now I'm not under the confines of an RTA safe strat. You can go all in here. Saying that, I played pretty risky in that run as it was. Well, yeah, this is the interesting thing with this one, is the Red Bulls actually start really early. In all the other modes of UFO. But it's only 30 here. For 3 medals. Oh, 88 is a great start though. Like, for the longest time, my PB was like only slightly above 100. In this one. I could probably improve number 2 a little bit easier, to be honest. I think number 2 is actually my worst one now. Number 3 and number 4 are actually better. I might be wrong. Because number 2 is just one mouse. Okay, yeah. Sent things in DMs. Alright. I will have a look very soon because I am almost done anyway. Who else am I being pinged by? Okay, nothing important. Alright, let's do number 2. So what are my PBs here? Let me have a look. Yeah, this one's 145 and the other two are 155. It's kind of funny. Like, my PB here is now the worst one. Like, that makes no sense. But it just is. It might be because in the star rain sections where it gives you a bunch of stars with no spike balls, those are very, very generous in the twin UFO variants. In here, it's not as generous. So that might, or at least it didn't feel as generous when I got to it. $56? That's not enough. That's not my 60. Oh, dang it. Oh, well, we'll give it a couple more goes, but I do need to rush off. I've already streamed a lot longer than I was planning on today. Yeah, I want to at least start off with 60 here, really. Alright, one more run past the beginning section of balls. And then we'll be done. That's more like it. 67. Alright, come on. So many angled balls, stop it. A PB of 4. It's a PB of 4. Sure, okay. It's still not 155. It's so funny. My 3 and 4 have 155 and my 2 is worse. I can improve this more though. This can go further. Alright, that was good. I got another PB. Wait, hang on a minute. I need to check if If that... because I did the rally one. Yeah, stunt driving. Stunt driving 2. Okay, yeah, stunt driving 2 I didn't grind as much, so it's not as surprising to PB that. But still, like, I don't get... I don't get stunt driving for PBs, honestly. Like, I'm convinced the first time you play it, you do better. And then, because the car has been, like, on for longer, it makes you go slower. Like, that's the only thing I can think. It makes no sense that it's that much worse sometimes. I don't know. That's probably placebo, though, to be honest. That's just me looking for a reason why it does that. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. We will find someone to raid. Next stream will be probably tomorrow. I'm only going to be doing, I'm guessing, a run of Clubhouse games. I don't think it's going to be the longest stream, because I'm busy. But that's the plan. So, we're going to see who is live. Yeah, I'm not live Saturday, though. Normally, I'd be live Saturday. We're not going to be here on Saturday. But the next stream after that will probably be Monday. Let's see who we got. Welcome to all. Nope, just me. Yeah, appreciate everyone watching. Yeah, thanks Conquer again for the Prime. Really appreciate that. And yeah, apologies. This week's been a bit all over the place. Like yesterday, I tried to stream and it was like 1 minute and I had to go. So yeah, not ideal. But we are so back. Okay, we will raid. Sure, we'll raid Jay. He's actually on a pacer at the moment. He's currently on well, I'm guessing world record pace. I can't even keep up with the Donkey Kong Bonanza world record at this point. It's not world record pace, never mind. It's PB pace. He's on pace. Go pace pal him. He's on pace. Next stream will be tomorrow, hopefully, but again, not a guarantee. And then the stream after that, probably Monday, but again, also not a guarantee. Theon, goddammit. Getting another raid in last second. Yeah, I think I've mentioned everything I was going to say. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.